Hi guys, I'm Akhil and I'm the CTO at remoteteams.io and dominate.ai, and these are both B2B SaaS products. So I want to talk to you about how do you get the perfect development job. All right. So if you are currently applying to jobs from Indeed and Monster websites like these, and if you're in India, then this is also very relevant to you, Naukri.com. So if you're applying to jobs from these type of websites, then you're very very late to the game, and this is where you won't ideally get the kind of package that you're looking for. In the sense, there's a particular amount of money that you want to make, the perfect package that you have in mind, right? And then there's what the HR offers to you, the recruiter is going to offer to you, and there's going to be a lot of difference between them if you are applying from jobs here. And also here the problem is, there are a lot of filters that come in out here. So you could be the right, as in you could be a great candidate, but you could have something wrong in your CV, and you might not have the right keywords in your CV. So the processor that they're using to filter out CVs, that might just filter you out. So you don't want to be a nameless, faceless CV in a company that's recruiting developers, right? You don't want to be in this stage. So this is the sixth stage that recruiters in the recruiter's pipeline. So what I want you to do now is I will take you through how a recruiter, a technical recruiter, thinks about the whole process. And so how can I tell you this? How do I have the experience? Is because I have managed like big teams of developers, and I have defined the processes of how hiring usually takes place. All right. So I'm not a technical recruiter, but I'm the the top executive of a company, let's say, who would tell the recruiter that this is going to be the process of how you end up hiring somebody. All right. So this is the last stage that a technical recruiter basically looks at. All right. Now, so this is where you don't want to be. If you're applying to jobs like this in 2021, and you're not happy with the job that you have, you're not happy with the money you're making, then you're at fault. This is where you don't want to be. And I want to help you to think like a CTO or somebody who's high above the food chain, and not somebody who's just a developer who's just going about things without knowing what they're doing. All right. So if you really want to get that awesome job, you want to understand the entire process of how a company starts looking for developers. A good technical and engineering driven company who has a strong CTO, how do they start looking at technical recruitment, right? This is the entire process. Now, the first thing that any company does is the CTO, let's say, it's me, and I'm connected to a lot of people on LinkedIn, or it's my personal network, and and there are people who have been sending me articles, or people who have been publishing on Medium and sharing it with me, or sharing it on LinkedIn on my feed. Those are the people I will notice first. And so along with being a CTO at my own firms, which I founded, I'm also on the interview panel of about 4 Fortune 500 companies. All right. So how that works is that Fortune 500 companies, they have the processes are really critical, and they can't afford to make a hiring mistake. So along with their internal people in their company, they also include some external people like me to be on the interview panel, so that there's complete balance, and there's no biases, to remove any biases or any mistakes that they might make. So the more people and the more number of processes, the better the interviewing process works. So this is how I can tell you. The first thing that happens is the CTO or the CEO, their network gets the most preference. So even if they come through our process, like let's say I'm on the interview panel of a Fortune 500 company, but this guy, the CTO's reference, he gets the most priority. As in, like you have to think twice before you can reject this guy, right? Because he's coming directly from the CEO. So always, if you want to get a great job, always connect with CTOs and CEOs on LinkedIn, and always be liking their statuses and sharing. So this is a hack, all right? This is a complete total hack that I'm telling you right now. Always keep liking their statuses, sharing, their statuses, whatever, commenting on their stuff, and keep sharing a lot of articles, and ensure that they connect, they interact with your content. The way to get them to interact with the content is obviously by liking their content, because that's the rule on LinkedIn, right? If you want somebody to connect, like interact with your content, you have to keep interacting with their content. You have to keep commenting, keep liking their content. All right, that's how you get people to interact with their content. So that whenever you post something, let's say you post an article on Medium or on LinkedIn and you share it on LinkedIn, then that particular person is going to notice you, and he's going to probably end up reading what you've written, and then he's going to keep you on top of your mind. And the art is to keep them engaged. Like let's say every 2-3 days, make sure you pop up on their feed. So that's one way, in the sense. So I think specifically talking about LinkedIn network, but you can also think about other things, like let's say an offline network, in the sense you met them at an event. Now, if you met them at an event or an exhibition or something like that, you want to stay on top of their mind, keep sending them emails, keep sending them articles, and like, hey, I found this really interesting, do check this out. And by offline, I also mean that maybe some friend of yours introduced you to them. Then also you have to keep on top of their mind. All right. Now the next stage, let's say if this is not accessible to you and this is like really difficult for you, the next stage is the reference of top executives. So the engineering managers, the director of engineering, VP of engineering, those guys, if you can get through a reference through them. So let's say, if you have a friend who has a mutual friend who knows a VP of engineering at some company, that's the route you want to follow, right? If this is not possible for you, the company is too big and this is like very difficult, then this is the route you want to follow. All right, you want to be a reference of a top executive. These get a lot of preference as well in the entire like technical recruitment process. Then you need to have references of employees. So let's say if both of these are not possible, then you got to find your friends who are at your same level, let's say your schoolmates and your college mates, and you want to get referred by them into their particular team. So like, let's say if there's a data science team and they're looking for another, data scientist or whatever, an ops guy or something like that. And if the developer who's working in the data science team, he recommends you for his team because he knows that in his team they're recruiting, then you can easily get the job. So how this process is flowing is that the recruiters, they want to close as many people from this stage as possible. They don't want to go to this stage. And then if they don't find the candidate at this stage, they'll go to this stage. If they don't find the right candidates, they'll go to this stage, reference of employees. And by this time, a lot of the important jobs have been closed, right? Because before the recruiter actually starts putting it on other platforms, he's already talked to all of his employees. He's already incentivized them that, here, if you get these many references into the company, we'll pay you if somebody gets selected, right? So all these companies have this recruitment kind of incentive. So here in the first 3 stages, a lot of the important job roles have been closed. Now the magic here is that if you are in the first 3, right? Actually, yeah, if you're in the first category, you have a huge negotiating power because you're coming from top down. You're coming directly from the CEO, and the recruiter doesn't have a lot of power over you, and you can ask for whatever hell the salary that you want. As in, you can ask for 30%, 50%, 70%. It doesn't matter what the industry standard is. The industry standards don't apply to you at this stage. They start applying to you somewhere here, as in the recruiter might say, no, this is the industry standard, I can't give you above 40%. But since you're coming from the VP of engineering, all right, I'll give you a 45% raise, whatever. But this is where the industry standards will apply. But they will still be flexible. But after this, after the 3rd stage is over, you are pretty much, you don't have a relationship with the recruiter. The recruiter is not, giving you a very huge preference, and he's not giving you, he's not like, going to sit around and negotiate very hard with you. All right. So you have to, like, a lot of people teach on, YouTube how to negotiate with a recruiter and all that. But I think you need to understand where you stand in the whole, pipeline. If you're here and you think that you can, I'm a really great negotiator, I'm going to negotiate with the technical, nobody gives a shit about you, man. If you're coming from here, this is where you can negotiate really hard. All right. So you need to understand where you stand in the entire pipeline. Now comes the past database part, where let's say in the past, they were hiring for some position and they were not able to close that position, or they had a few extra CVs that they found were good, but they did not use it in the past position that they closed. So that becomes their past database. In the past database, now they can start looking for people from the past database and start approaching them that, hey, do you want to interview again? We have a new position open for this time. And, since it's been 6 months, probably you may have gained even more experience. And then they start approaching people on LinkedIn. And this may have happened with you. Recruiters, they start sending you emails saying that, hey, we have a great opportunity. Why don't you interview with us? This is the fifth stage, right? And people feel really important here. So they think that, recruiters are reaching out to me on LinkedIn. Wow, I must be really important. So why don't I start asking for a lot of salary? Why don't I start keeping some bullshit requests to the recruiter? But you have to understand that you're fifth. They've already looked at the top people they wanted to look at. Now they're just coming to you because your CV looks great on LinkedIn, your profile is great, and you share a lot of content. That's about it. And then when they feel that even on LinkedIn they're not finding a lot of talent and it's becoming too much for them, then they'll probably post on AngelList if they're a small company or like a startup, Series D, Series C kind of a startup. They'll probably put it on LinkedIn, AngelList, or they might just skip this entire step and they'll just go directly to Indeed, Monster, and Naukri. And this is, I think, where you probably are applying right now. If you're applying here, you're in a lot of trouble, my friend. You need to be out here. Okay. Now, for this stage, like I said, connect with a lot of CTOs, CEOs, either through offline places or online places like LinkedIn. Keep connecting, keep engaging them, keep ensuring that they're always seeing you and you're always on top of their mind. That is how you get awesome jobs. All right. I hope that makes sense. Now, this is some really solid advice. You might think that, oh yeah, I've heard about this. You've heard about this, but you're probably not doing it, because I know I sit on a lot of panels of a lot of Fortune 500 companies. Nobody's doing this properly. All right, nobody's doing this properly. If you were doing it properly, I would probably know. So let me tell you that this is where you need to be. Even if you're a very junior developer, you need to be on the CTO or CEO's speed dial, so as to say, right? They need to know that you've been writing a lot of articles. You're the right guy. So this is where you need to be. All right. And very few people, like, I don't know, it's 0.001%, something like that. Those kind of people do something like this, because developers are usually shy people. They don't go around and start networking or connecting with people. But you need to change that. You need to be connected with the CTOs and CEOs. All right. So thanks a lot for watching this video. This is really solid advice. If you really follow this, you will never have a problem with the job. When it comes to development or developer job, you'll never have a problem. If you keep thinking that you already knew this and you're on your high horse, and if you don't apply this, then then good luck on the sixth stage. Keep doing this and keep trying to negotiate with technical recruiters. All right. So I'll see you in the next episode. I'll share some awesome value bomb like this with you. That comes after I've spent 10 years in the industry. I know every single thing, how it works. So I'll share with you all these kind of tips, and do subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next episode.